I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
Hey, welcome back to Focus Today, and wow, let's go right on down to the heart of the action. Yes, we're going to talk with our good friend Megan Baby. No, excuse me. Megan Barth. She's the founder and proprietor of ReaganBaby.com, one of the must-read and have websites. How you doing, Megan? Good to see you.
Hey, Perry. I'm doing well. Thank you. Great to see you, too.
Yeah, well, what'd you think last night?
Well, I was on the air filling in for Wayne Allen Root yesterday until 6 o'clock, so I missed the first part of the debate, but I listened to it on the radio, and I was so pleased with Chris Wallace. I have to say that first and foremost, because much like many, we're very skeptical of the press, especially after the WikiLeaks exposed them to be basically a propaganda arm of the DNC. Chris Wallace kept it above board. He started out with the Supreme Court. Thank you, Chris Wallace. The most important part of this election is the nominees to the Supreme Court and what our country will look like, because the Supreme Court under Hillary Clinton will fundamentally transform this country, whereby our rights will then be granted by government instead of God or our inalienable rights. They believe that the progressives believe that the Constitution is a living and breathing document. And I was very happy that Chris Wallace had mentioned that, because a living and breathing document is according to the whims of the progressive movement. And we know who the progressives are. They believe in infanticide. I'm also happy that Chris Wallace mentioned abortion, whereby Hillary Clinton will nominate the most extreme judges to the Supreme Court, which will affect not only abortion, but as well as our First Amendment, our Second Amendment rights, and our entire Constitution. So I was very happy that he started off on the right foot. It gave himself credence. He didn't start out like Megyn Kelly or Anderson Cooper by putting Trump immediately on the defensive and making him defend himself against these baseless, what I call bimbo eruptions of 2016.
Did you learn anything last night? Did you hear anything new?
I have to say I'm going to grade the candidates. I gave Trump an A for his second debate because I really liked how he framed the debate. He stood on the offensive. He made Hillary stand on the defensive. She was put on her heels in the second debate, and she was really rattled. This debate, I would give him a B. I think that he dropped down a little bit. Same with Hillary, as far as her canned answers. She was obviously very prepared. She was in seclusion for quite a while. She was on bed rest. She even said yesterday after the debate that she's going to plug on until the election. No more naps for Hillary Clinton is what she said. Well, thank God. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with an elderly woman who is not truly physically fit to be commander-in-chief. And I didn't necessarily learn anything new. I think we all learned something new this week because of the amount of WikiLeaks. We have now 17,000, maybe now 18,000 documents from John Podesta, who I call Gozer, the gatekeeper of the Hillary Clinton campaign. So we also learned from James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, the seedy and illegal inner workings of the Democrat Party by using black operatives in order to incite violence at Trump rallies, which they successfully did in Arizona, Chicago, and San Jose, etc. And I also learned, and we also learned, of the massive amounts of voter fraud that the DNC would be complicit in engaging in should they take up the consultants of the DNC's really unbelievable cavalierness when it comes to trying to rig the elections. And as the consultant on the James O'Keefe video said, we've been doing this for 50 years. So I learned more actually from the leaks that came out, as well as the FBI documents that came out this week, which proves that Hillary Clinton and her staff were using the State Department as a personal hedge fund, as well as a quid pro quo arrangement, whereby they were trying to bribe the FBI to change classified documents And in exchange, if the FBI agent did change those classified documents and reduced their classification, the FBI would then be able to place agents in areas around the world where they weren't able to before. So this demonstrates that Hillary Clinton is all about protecting herself and her power, and not our troops and our resources and our national security.
All right, you bring up the question to me, Megan. Nowhere in this campaign has Trump taken advantage, and I hate to use that term, or at least brought up Benghazi. He has not nailed her with Benghazi. Do you have any idea why?
You know, I agree with you. And I was actually texting with my dad last night, and I said, where is Benghazi? You know, where is Benghazi? There were many of open opportunities that I thought he could take that he missed. One of them was Benghazi. I don't know why. I wonder, and this is just my own personal supposition, I wonder if it's because it doesn't poll well. And I know that's awful to say, but when you're at a campaign, when you're in a campaign and you're looking at what people are most concerned about, the way that Chris Wallace laid this debate out was very policy driven. Now, he could have brought in when they went to foreign policy, you know, he talks about the refugee crisis. Well, part of that refugee crisis is because of what we did in Libya, is because of what this administration and Hillary Clinton did in Egypt. So I honestly don't know if because they see Benghazi as not something that is necessarily going to bring in more independence into the tent and really create that move over to, whether it's Democrats or independents, move over to the Republican Party. So I'm as disappointed as you are, but that's really my only guess that I can make.
I've often thought somewhere he could slip in something like, you know, Hillary, what makes you think, or the American people think, that we can trust you keeping us 340 million Americans safe in our homeland when you can't protect 4 Americans in Benghazi?
Exactly. And what makes you think that you're going to protect us? What if we sent you 600 calls for help like Christopher Stevens? Would you ignore those too? She was very happy to expose that if she holds the nuclear codes, that whoever else works with her only has 4 minutes. Why are you telling the world how many minutes we have to reply to a potential nuclear attack? Much like Joe Biden, when he exposed who was carrying the nuclear codes. This is the problem with the Democrats. And this is the
housing expert to help.
Ads.
That's okay. You're so popular, Megan, everybody wants you. Let me ask you this. Do you think that Chris Wallace, and I agree, I think the winner last night was Chris Wallace. I think the loser last night was Donna Brazile. You may want to comment on that. She really got hammered by Megyn Kelly. But do you think that Chris Wallace balanced pretty well the sexual accusations on the Trump side and the WikiLeaks stuff on the Clinton side?
Say that one more time.
Do you think was pretty much balanced the accusations of the sexual assaults on the Trump side with the WikiLeaks and all those issues on the Clinton side?
Well, I thought we could have actually done a little bit more on the WikiLeaks. I mean, there's 17,000 documents. Chris Wallace could have spent quite a bit of time, especially when it shows the two personalities of Hillary Clinton, because what this election is about, as we got down to the final 2 candidates, they both have high unfavorables. And so each candidate is trying to make the other more unfavorable than the other. And Hillary Clinton is hoping that she is going to skate into the presidency, much like her husband, with 43% of the vote. So really, Trump needs to attack her 2 faces that she talks about in the hypocrisy. And I thought that could have been a little bit more expounded upon, because that's really how you are going to chip away at Hillary's credibility. We know now that 66% of the people believe that she's a liar, and 60% of people wanted her indicted. This is Hillary's problem, and this is also Trump's problem, whereby he has the high unfavorables, and he has to really work on those, not just amongst women, but also independents.
What do you think about him sticking with the election is rigged theme?
I think it's a brilliant move because, look, the Democrats want to deny that voter fraud exists. We caught them on tape committing voter fraud. They want to deny that voter fraud and election rigging exists. We caught them because of WikiLeaks rigging the primary against Bernie Sanders, disenfranchising millions of voices and millions of voters in order to protect the Democrat nominee, Hillary Clinton. They used the voters. They used the energy of Bernie Sanders for their own DNC efforts. And then what they did is backstab all of his supporters in the back. They rigged California. We now know. I did in ReaganBaby.com 3 parts on voter fraud. The system is rigged, part 1, 2, and 3. We also know that the system is rigged because the Democrats have the press in their back pocket. We've exposed through WikiLeaks the cozy relationship and what I would call a propaganda arm of the DNC, which is now what the press has become. The American people can no longer depend on a press that operates with ethics and integrity, a press which wants to find the truth and report the truth. Those were our hopes of yesterday. We now know that it is nothing but Pravda. It is a propaganda arm of the DNC, and that's another way that you rig an election, by denying voters knowledge, by denying them the truth, by not empowering them with the truth and feeding them false narratives and lies.
Very well said. Thank you. I wish I had you for an hour. I know you're busy. We got to move on. Good to see you again. Awake?
I was pretty tired this morning, I got to tell you, because I started at 4. They had so many radio interviews, and plus I hosted radio yesterday, but I'm very happy to be with you today. I wouldn't miss it.
Thank you. ReaganBaby.com. That's the website. See you, Megan. We'll be back in touch.
Okay.
See you later. All right, we'll be right back.